In Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, he mentioned that the most important aspect of power and influence is your ability to master your emotions. Hi ladies and gentlemen, I am Hijazi and I am a speaker and a consultant from the Baraka people, and today we are going to talk about power. Now when it comes to power, most of us tend to associate power with something that is destructive. And in today's context, especially when we talk about power, we are talking about political power, we are talking about manipulative power, and not a lot of people are having conversations about the power of positivity, the power of love, the power of affirmations, the power of prayers. These days, we tend to associate power with everything that is oppressive, everything that gets us in a negative state of feelings. One of the things that is closely related to power is your ability to master your emotions. The kind of people who are powerful are those people who are able to not just master their own emotions, they are at the same time able to also master, understand, relate to other people's emotions, feelings, and sentiments. That happens to be one of the skills that leaders need to learn very quickly in order for them to have an understanding and insight into how their followers reflect or act or react with their leadership. One of the very good example that I read online once was with regards to the one that the current Google CEO illustrated as a story. He said that I think it was him, if I'm not mistaken. He said that there was a room, and then after that, a flying cockroach just came in, and everybody in the room just ran out and screamed and such. And then there was this one person who just swatted the cockroach, picked it up, and threw it outside. And from this very short example, this short anecdote, he mentioned in the commentary, it means that there are two types of responses that happens usually when it comes to events or circumstances. One is the reactive response, and this is usually related to an emotional response. It's usually very reactive. And then the second one is the proactive reaction, the proactive response, whereby you think logically and then you are able to master your emotions at that point of time and do something proactively or respond proactively to the situation to make it so much better. In this aspect, it's very important to understand then that an emotional response is usually something that leads to a non-productive, a negative circumstance or event. And emotional response is also something that you will not want to find yourself in, especially when you are a leader, because most of the time an emotional response will lead you into doing something which is regrettable, something that you would have considered on hindsight could have been done better. The one thing about emotional response is that usually it clouds the logical aspect of things, it clouds your sense of reason, and so the kind of things that you say or the kind of things that you do or the kind of things that you want to decide on are usually clouded by logical reasoning, sensible, rational things that could make things be better. One of the response or one of the emotional response that we always associate ourselves with is the emotion of anger. And if you want to be a leader, if you want to establish yourself as someone who has power, who has influence, positive ones, you have to realize that anger is one of those emotional response that you have to stifle it in. You have to understand exactly how it's supposed to work or how it's supposed to function in order to make it be not destructive. On the flip side, although affections and love is a positive emotion, it can also be destructive when you are embroiled, when you are immersed in it to an extent whereby you probably will not have realized that other people are playing you or other people are affecting you, and they know how to make use of that affection you have, that emotional attachment you have to them, and therefore they are able to manipulate you. So an emotional response, be it anger, or to an extreme of love and affection, it can be destructive if you are not able to master these two. So as leaders, you have to understand an emotional reaction or response is a key component of power and influence only if you know how to master them.